Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so let's keep this pretty brief. I'm going to go for a single on the snatch, which obviously is going to be very heavy because this is the first week of the reset on the snatch. So 110, 115, maybe 120. The limiter on today's training, or the snatch in particular, will be technical perfection, which is what I'm looking for right now, and definitely this early in the block. So we'll be intentionally holding myself back, but nothing crazy. We'll see how it goes. Just warm up. I have so many upper body dams from Friday's jiu-jitsu. So we did open mat. I didn't think I rolled that hard, but for some reason I have a load of pec dams and shoulder dams, and they're not going away as dams are wont to do. I haven't had dams in a long time, so certainly not on my pecs at least. So we're going to do the snatches, see what we hit. Not too concerned. I've been doing lots of mobility every day now for the last couple of weeks, and things are improving, but things improve slowly, which is the course of mobility. So we're going to do that. We'll do our snatch pulls, and then we'll do some back squats. I was talking about doing a heavy single at some point in the next 2 weeks. I might do it tonight if things magically feel looser and better, and if not, I won't. I'll do whatever feels appropriate. I'm not too concerned. So without further ado, I want to get moving and stay warm. Let's get to the snatching, and then we'll see what I end up hitting.
Not only is higher ed incredibly expensive, it's not accessible. Because me and my colleagues are trying to embrace the ultimate strategy. Me and my colleagues in higher ed wake up every morning and ask ourselves the same question when we look in the mirror. How can I make $1 billion for the greatest public institution size of campus in exchange for three things? One, they use technology and scale to reduce tuition by 2% a year, expand enrollments by 6%, increase the number of open schools. I talk about Social Security. It would cost $11 billion to get child tax credits, that gets stripped from the infrastructure bill. But the additional $135 billion a year for Social Security, that flies right over 95 pounds, getting tips on dieting from Facebook. You're supposed to understand the challenges that a 27-year-old single mother has. By the way, Young and Dreamy, Culinary Academy, that wants her disruption. We're economically attacking the young, but I know, let's attack their emotional and mental health. Let's take advantage of the fact of the species.
So just in between snatches there, we're just finished. So we did 115, but okay, so good things. Pull feels really strong from all the pulls. Speed is very, very, very good, but the extension's not right, and those dams from jiu-jitsu are really restricting that overhead position. So I made great progress in the overhead position. You know, it's use or use it. I wasn't using it, and it's come back great, but very tight this session. So I need to be super conscious of that. So mostly good. Objectively looking at this, is barbell speed is good. 115 is fine. You know, it is what it is. Mobility still needs to be worked on. I need to keep working on that and improve that bottom position, because it's letting me down a little bit there. More external rotation at the bottom, better hip flexion. So this flexion is limited, and I need to get a bit deeper in that position so the two of those are connected. So I need to improve on those. I'm going to keep doing pulls, but I'll see you in squats in a couple of seconds.
$1.5 trillion, the greatest economic transfer in history happens every year, from young people to the wealthiest generation in history, senior citizens, and it's called Social Security. And it just is insane that this group is.
Okay, so 200 kilos for a single, it felt pretty terrible. So, not terrible, but it was not good enough to go for a single. Not when I'm not really doing much with the squats. So, what do we do? 220 for 5 on Thursday, which is the heaviest set of 5 we've done in a long time. So, of course, the squat wasn't going to feel good on Sunday. I don't know what I was thinking about, to be honest. So, anyway, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to do any volume or anything. I'm just gonna leave it there for the squats because, again, as I say, it doesn't matter particularly, and the squat is definitely strong enough for what I need to do. So there's no pressure. To 220 for 5 was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna leave it there. No hip pain. Well, quad and hip flexor, IT band, no pain at all, which is really great. So I'm super fucking happy with that. So it was bothering me for a long time on and off, and didn't feel it at all there. So I'm super, super happy with that. Now, there's still some ways to go. So talk about that hip click, and from what I can see, it's from limited flexion in my hip. So that's when it happens, when my hip is in a lot of flexion, and I need more flexion for the bottom position in weightlifting, and obviously something is going on there. So the pain was it a symptom? Was it a way of alerting me of a problem? Whatever way you want to really place it. So made a good progress in that. It's pain-free, which is fantastic, but they did not finished yet. It shouldn't be clicking, and it only started clicking like 3 weeks ago, so I need to keep working there. Hamstrings, abysmally tight. Is that the problem? Is stretching my hamstrings the solution? It might be part of the solution, but it's probably not the cause. It's still probably coming from that hip extension and hip flexion. So I've gotten a lot of hip extension back, which is good, but my flexion needs more work. Hip flexion is something you'd think I would have more of. You might be like, oh, squatting so much and jiu-jitsu, and hip flexion is really interesting. So that end range of hip flexion is super interesting. So I have a lot of dorsiflexion, lots of internal rotation available, so you can kind of compensate in funny mechanisms. And when you're pretty well built for squatting, you can kind of get away a little bit with some of those things. So it's definitely interesting for me. Another kind of learning, I would suppose, as a coach and an athlete. So restoring hip flexion so I'll just need to keep working on it. It's not the hardest thing, but it does require a bit of diligence. One of the better ones is, the wall squats where you lie on your back and you get into a really deep squat position like you would be on a leg press, but you do it against a wall. Bit of contract, relax. That's a useful way of restoring that, but I'll need some more specific ways. But as I say, hip, the pain is cleared up, which is fantastic, because that was really inhibitory to jumping. You can see the PB jumps I hit a couple of days ago is a good sign, that things are going the right direction there. So I think what's really interesting about this is that this is the whole journey all the way along, whether you've just been in weightlifting for a month, or you've just started jiu-jitsu or MMA, or any other sports you might take up as a teen or later. But specifically with these sports, this is always, as long as I can remember. I can remember my first pain. I can actually remember it in terms of weightlifting. So I remember I had a lot of knee pain from like tight hips from playing field sports, and that cleared up obviously from training and weightlifting. But I remember I had a sore shoulder. Nothing particular happened, but I remember saying it to my coach, and I was like, "Oh, my shoulder's kind of sore," and he was like, "Yeah, it's weightlifting. Those things will happen. It'll clear up," and it did, And a lot of times pains do clear up, but sometimes we need to sort out the issue, and it's not always good to ignore them. Mobility is quite interesting in positions, so this is the endless battle. If you want to push performance, whatever you're doing, like I've been saying, you've got to go sort these injuries, and we're living in a better time than ever for finding people who can help you with this particular modality of training, mobility and prehab and rehab. There's so much good information out there. I'm using an app at the moment. I'm using Kelly Starrett's app, the Ready State app. I've been trialing that, and I am liking it. So we'll see how that goes. But a lot of the stuff is stuff I've picked over the years. For example, from Kelly or Scott University, or a lot of people, you know, that I'm able to progress the rehab or the progression on that stuff. So areas I want to work on is hip flexion, and it's funny, it's only one side, but that's usually how things manifest. Rarely you'll see bilateral because one side's probably going to take a bit more of dominance than the other. And then the overhead position, so still need to work on the elbow position. Like I said, we got that elbow position in a full extension, beyond full extension, temporarily for like 5 seconds of my own accord. So there's good progress there, but needs to work on that. Still need to work on external rotation, the bottom position. And all those are tightly interlinked, so they will hopefully gather up together. Okay, so I figured out why my shoulders were tight, because I got sick again. Woohoo! Woo! I'm turning into fits. So one of the things that happens when you have kids, as many of you do watching this, a lot of you are in that age bracket of kids, and you go through a period where you just get sick a lot because they're getting sick a lot. And if you live with someone who gets sick a lot, you're going to get sick a lot. I think this is like the 5th time this year I've gotten sick. Normally I would have gotten sick like once or twice a year. Physically and health, I'm pretty robust. But that's what happens. Your immune system is not infallible. Nobody's immune system is immune to all sicknesses. That's not how the immune system works. But that's by and by. Just have to get on with it. It's not a major encumbrance. I'm not going to die right now, at least. And sometimes when I get sick, my muscles get tight. And usually the muscles I'm using kind of frequently are the ones that get tight, or if a particular muscle is already tight, it feels more inflamed. So that's why my shoulders were tight. Not so much from jiu-jitsu, but because I was getting sick again. Woohoo! So I took yesterday off, obviously. I didn't feel bad at all Sunday. My throat has been tickly for the last like week and a half. Very, very coughy yesterday, the day before. And today, a bit of coughing today. Like you probably hear my voice that it's a bit soy. So I'm going to do some snatching. I'm supposed to be snatching low blocks. It's supposed to be 95 kilos for sets of 3. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. Normally, obviously, in training, I have a very good idea. But sometimes when you're sick and you warm up, it's fine. So obviously, it's a very bad idea to train when you have a respiratory sickness, then you're in the midst of it. Elevating your heart rate or, you know, vigorous exercise isn't a good idea in that regard. So that's why I took yesterday off. I just went for a walk, which hardly counts as exercise in my opinion, just to keep my NEAT relatively high. Today, I'm not sure. It's supposed to be low block snatching and it's supposed to be upper body work. So I'm going to put this up anyway, just to show you what happens, just to keep it honest representation of what training is, because I think that's kind of what we all want to see in some regards. Now, I don't find missing motivational. I don't find people's inspiration for missing, but it's good to see that everyone is human. You know, we're not all just squatting 300 kilos, although you all saw how long that took and how hard that was. But I've honestly no idea. 50 kilos might be perfect, or it might be super heavy. We might be able to do my triples at 95. It might be terrible. I've no idea until I warm up. I've been sitting here for like 15 minutes. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to turn on both heaters and it's going to be toasty. So, and I'm going to listen to some Macklemore. So I'm going to play some music over the snatching. So no ASMR snatching or no weird Game of Thrones incest. I'm on a Dance of Dragons. We're on the last book, the last audio book. I know a lot of you have said that you've actually started listening to them again recently, because I was listening to them and I hope you're enjoying them. A Feast for Crows is terrible. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on with the training, and I might see you back here in 5 minutes, or I might see you in 30 minutes of snatching. Only time will tell. Hopefully all will be okay. Okay, so that turned into a pretty good session, all told. No coughing fit, so I didn't pass out. And you'd get a time lapse of me lying on the floor, but it turned into a pretty good session with the snatches. So we did 6x3 at 90 kilos. Last week we did 7x3 at 90 kilos on the low block snatches. They actually turned out to be very good. Very, very confident in the turnover. Bar felt very, very nice. A couple of different cues that I was focusing on, and I'm quite happy with how I was executing those. So there was actually 3 particular things that I was focusing on, 4 by the end, and you can see the second last set was superb. I was so happy. All 3 reps were very, very good. So in the first couple of sets, I was pulling my shoulders back a little bit too early behind the barbell as it separated from the blocks. So I just made sure I was much further over the barbell in the first pull or initiation of the pull off the blocks. Then really extended upper and lower back. So pulling my chest up and extending my lower back, which in turn helps extend my upper back for the whole lift all the way through the second pull and add extension, which makes a huge difference to the power you can express in your legs. Then I was thinking about pulling my traps and then a very, very long pull. So it might sound like a lot of things, but the better you get and the more accurate you get and the more repetitions you get with snatches and the better the skill of weightlifting you get at certain weights, you can concentrate on certain things. Eventually, hopefully, some of these things become second nature. How long that will take is anybody's guess. So as I said, no coughing fit, which I'm pretty happy about. However, I did give myself a little bit of a headache, mostly I think from tight shoulders and tight neck, from muscular stuff, and probably a little bit blocked up, but a headache I can get over. Coughing fit would not be a good thing. So then we moved on to some pulls. I ran out of battery in the GoPro, so the pulls were at 110 kilos. I did 5x3, and nothing crazy with those. Didn't pull up my arms, just focusing on pulling up my traps as much as possible. Then to keep things pretty brief, I moved on to block rows again at 90 kilos. So I went to about 8 to 10 reps per set, and then pretty close to failure by the last set. And then I coupled that with some push-ups to near failure for every set, just to push it on a little bit and get a bit more prompt. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to do any cardio. It's too late, and I'm a little bit too sick to add the load. I might do my hill sprints tomorrow. So tomorrow's plyometrics and hill sprints. I might just do plyometrics and the stationary by tomorrow. I'll see how I'm feeling and see how bunged up I am or not bunged up I am, and will be smart, even though I don't want to lose the conditioning I have at the moment. It's easy come, easy go with conditioning, as many of you know, or at least some of you might know. So we'll leave it there for that session. Good cues. Speed is coming back really well. Mobility is coming back. Doing loads of soft tissue work, and it is really helpful almost daily, and about 40 minutes total. So it's not nothing. It's no joke to get it done. So I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you're enjoying the training vlogs. You might be wondering why I didn't go to 95 this week, and to be honest, I could have, but the first set was slightly janky, which it was bound to be. Then the second set got a bit better. So then I just got into a groove, and I just wanted to hit some good reps, and I didn't want to push my luck because I could easily gone 95 or 100, and it gone wonky. So I just wanted to hit a good groove and make sure I was staying on track. So I get a lot of benefit from repeating, and I wouldn't get a whole lot of benefit from messing it up at this stage in the training block. So this would technically be week 2 of the snatching training that I reset, and that's not the time to be taking risks with extra weights. Starting too light within reason is always a good idea, and not taking any crazy jumps until you've built a nice sequence and build up some quality movement, which I'm trying to do at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to get your own weightlifting program, you can check out the Sika Strength app on iOS and Android. Snatch programs, clean program, jerk program, the weightlifting program, the squatting program, all of those on there. Dynamic loading adjustment, intelligent AI coach bot trained on all our questions, video library, program library, and of course weekly live streams on our Facebook. Check it out on Sika Strength at iOS and Android, the Sika Strength app. Mwah.